on third cutting. He takes his leaf blower and he blows everything all out. We've seen other videos on YouTube where people's ground balers have caught on fire, combine fires, terrible things like that happening. And making sure that you don't have hot, dry bearings is a good place to start. But making sure that you're not putting things away with hot parts and dry chaff, I'd say is a good key to not having barn problems later on. He always leaves it out and lets it cool for a while before he puts it in. Let me show you what's going on at the field. So they got these bales off of the south field about a week and a half ago, and we've been waiting for a long stretch of weather to start in here. So they did this section, I guess, about a week ago and another week before for that. And it's just worked out really good that now that all this hurricane weather is moving by, they were able to get into this bigger section here, and it sure was ready. Very tall, very good quality hay. The hay customers are gonna love it, and the cows are loving it too. He just unloaded a partial bale up there at the barn for me, and the cows are mooing like crazy, which reminds me, my water's running. So Trey, they fabricated a bale carrier instead of the bale spear. He likes it a lot better. He says it's a lot easier for him to run it that way. So we'll get a close-up on that in just a little bit. And he has been moving right along while his dad's been baling and moving up there on the hill. They found they really like that a lot. We haven't used our bale wrapper in 2 years. We'd actually gotten a bad batch of bale wrap right out of the gates for us. So our first time using it, it just kept snapping and breaking. They fiddled with it, and we had that done. They got through it, but it never really got a lot better. So they took it out, they used it beyond the equipment here, and they wrapped up about 22 or 26 bales a day ago, and they said this is just great. It's so much better than having to invest in a building and then just buy the bale wrap instead. $101 per roll, and I think he said he did the 22 or 26 on that roll, so that's pretty good. Getting into building and everything, you know, no time to do that. You gotta plan far ahead for a thing like that. And eventually, maybe someday up there, not for sure. But the bale wrapper is gonna come in handy. One thing that's been interesting about this hay season, this is a little black cat right here. And I don't know if it's the male or the female, but we have a mama cat, and she's been out here catching mice. And her son has been out here catching mice because of the hay is cut and they're easier to find and get. That's the son. This is Lightning. Hi, Lightning. He was one of a litter of 4. Hi, and he is a good mouser. He brought it back to the barn and he was sharing it with the kittens this morning. So the bale spear works really well for loading trailers, but the bale carrier works really good for moving bales. And he hasn't told me if he has a preference yet or not. I believe his bale spear for the back of the tractor was something that he borrowed from his grandpa, and our bale spear for the backhoe is manufactured here on the farm. They do a lot of that kind of fabricating together, and if it needs to be modified, you can try it out for a day or a couple hours and make more modifications. And I think they did that with his bale carrier too. They tried it once or twice and something needed to be slightly changed, and now he's had this whole hay year to work on that since, I don't know, first cutting, I guess, and it's been working out really well for him. It's been a good time for us doing hay this week because it's been in the upper 60s to low 70s with cool nights. I think it was like 36 the other night for the first time. We were able to have a fire, but we were going along the edge of the field cleaning up any dead or fallen trees and storm damage this week, and we had a firewood video earlier. So it's been a good time of stockpiling our firewood for the winter for our free heat and free hot water. Look at that one, so vibrant. How do you like that umbrella he's got this year? This buggy style doesn't catch the wind like the umbrella style did. They were having to take strings and tie down the edges on that buggy on the umbrella style, so this worked out really well for him so far. If you look back to him doing first cutting, sometimes he would have to approach a hay bale 2 or 3 times, and he was having clutch trouble. So I don't know if it was the clutch trouble or the bale spear, but I think this is working out well for him. And the clutch trouble got all straightened out. They did all the fine tuning on that they needed. These old tractors, it doesn't take much, couple of pennies and a couple of dollars here and there. The biggest expense for us is usually fuel. I think in this cutting it's going to be the wrapping, just because it's not something that we normally do. But I would say hay sales have been kind of slow this year. The grass in pastures was growing quite well, and it's been a little dry. So I'd say we're a little late on third cutting. You get too late into October and you get some cooler days and nights where 3 or 4 days might not be enough. We were lucky to get this stretch of nice warm weather, but we didn't want to push it, and we've still got the whole southwest side of the farm to do. I don't know how many acres total they've got, but they're gonna rely on some dry weather after Sunday to be able to do that. So they're gonna plan on wrapping tomorrow, and we'll get you hopefully some footage of that and see if we can splice it all together. I wanted to give you a shot of the whole design, and I think when they changed it, they added that like 9-inch, 10-inch section there to make it a little taller. I think he even used our forklift extensions that we had made years ago for the slide-in carrier parts. Good repurposing of something that we weren't using. Alrighty, now we can show you unloading one. He's been a big help doing this. He actually got to run the baler this year, or the hay bind. We got that New Holland hay bind, and other than a bolt that keeps breaking, it's done well. There we go. Proud of this guy. 14 years old, and he's just taking over all the hay stuff for his dad. So the baling is the one thing I don't think he's done yet. It's, you know, another job to learn. But that carrier's worked out really well. Occasionally he'll get caught on a first or second string, and they just fix it up like that, and it holds together. Well, we got the whole family into production today. I drove the backhoe over to the field. Husband drove the old truck and trailer over. Trey's over here raking, and they're about to start baling again. But he realized instead of wrapping all of these bales from yesterday, they can cover some with tarps that we already have and wrap as we need. So the tarp that was on top of this pile all got sold off, oh, I guess a week or so ago, but the tarp on top tore. So they did some wrapping, like I had said, without filming it. So this is everything from the other day, and we've got some up by the house under a tarp also. That way we can sell what's under the tarp and keep what's wrapped for winter selling or for winter feed for ourselves. He figures 29, I think, yesterday. But rather than bring the wrapper and everything over here and have to come out here in the winter, it's a lot easier to move these now to the homestead, which is on the other side of the creek, so that we can go ahead and wrap them on site and have them stored on site also. So we found by using sandbags that the tarps don't whip in the wind quite as much. The tarp that tore was a tarp that I had gotten like free on the side of the road or a yard sale a long time ago. So it's been used for several seasons here and used for roofing, and then used, somebody else obviously had it before us. This tarp, I believe, is from last year, and having it tied off at the bottom like I've showed in the past with the sandbags this way instead of upright, it just doesn't catch the wind as much. They're stacked 3 high like I've said in the past, and that end just doesn't get caught with the wind. They're a little heavier duty roof tarp than what we had before. If I can find a product link for you, I'll put that in the description below also. He brought 11 home with that, and there was room under this tarp here, so he's gonna unload that yet tonight or tomorrow and get it under cover here. We've got it pulled back, so it'll just fill up all the way out here. I'm actually behind a bit on some of the editing and combining footage from first, second cutting of the hay. So I'll work on getting that done in some spare time. Sometimes it gets too hard to edit and then it doesn't make sense, or enough days have gone by. Like I missed them doing the bale wrapping. So I've been holding on to that footage for a week, trying to catch them doing bale wrapping. And I don't know when they're going to get back to it again. So I'm just going to splice it all together. And if we do bale wrapping again, I'll squeeze that in to a separate video. I appreciate all your patience in these farming videos, and I hope you enjoyed visiting us at the farm today. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.